Hey everybody, this is Miss K and welcome to Miss K Gone Postal. I hope you guys are having a great Tuesday. You know, this time change is really fucking Miss K up. It's darker than a motherfucker and it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, swear to God, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and it's dark as hell. I'm just playing with y'all. It really isn't. But this shit is messing me up. My sleep pattern, everything. Anyway, I decided to come and talk to you guys today because I just felt like talking about some shit today. So we just gonna call it Talk About It Tuesday. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the fuck is going on. Let me tell y'all some stuff that just happened to me today. So today, one of my friends who's a carrier gave me a phone call and said, hey, they finna close my location. I said, what you mean? It was like, we got a letter today and they're closing our location and we need to report to the new SDC, which is not too far from them, starting in January, right? So I was like, talking about the changes that are happening. Some of the changes haven't really affected me directly. And some of them, as you well know, because my bid's getting abolished, has affected me. But some of my friends who are carriers or drivers, it hasn't really trickled down to them yet. And as of today, it actually has trickled down. So you literally have to the end of this year, well, my friend does, to work at the location he is, and then go to the new SDC. And it made me wonder about something. In my location, where I am, they are closing 4 stations. I can't give y'all the names because I think y'all gonna find out where I work. And Miss K don't want y'all to know where I work besides the post office. That's all you need to know. But 4 of them are closing and they're bringing them to our plant. This is what we were told, that the carriers will be coming to our location and they're actually going to take the area I work in, which will be closed, and they're going to move them into that location. At least about 160 carriers. I don't know how the fuck they going to fit them into there, but it's supposed to happen that way. But my thing is, we're not an SDC, and the SDCs were specifically created so that the stations that are going to be closed, the carriers and some of those clerks will be moving to the SDCs to process. Now, my friend had a real issue because in his letter, it stated he was keeping his bid. So his bid was not being abolished. His route wasn't being abolished. He was keeping his bid. He was keeping his route. But he found it kind of weird because now you're X amount of miles away from where your route is for you to drive to your route and then come back to the SDC. Now, remember, in the Joyce plan, all those carriers and drivers or whatever are going to be housed at one particular location. And the issue with a lot of carriers and even, regular drivers, if you're MVS, is that you're away from your main route. Where you were located before at your station or if you were at a plant, you were not that far from the routes that you were taking. Now, when you're in the SDCs, you're maybe an extra 10 miles, 5 miles, maybe even 20 miles away from your main route. So now you got to maybe leave a little earlier to start on your route because the SDC is not centrally located to where you need to be. Now, this is part of the Joyce plan. This is stuff that's been discussed, but now I'm actually about to see it put into action, how this is really, really going to work. Now, with the carriers that are losing their stations that are coming to our plant, it's not that far from them. Now, it may be an extra couple of minutes or whatever for them to get to their routes, but it won't be a hassle. They can probably make it work. But in the hindsight of things, when you think about it, closing all these smaller stations, and most of them, remember, are being leased. Remember, the post office does not want to keep, if a lease is ending, they're getting rid of the fucking lease and they're making them go to the SDCs. But my issue is, we're not an SDC, we're LDC. So if we're going to house these carriers and drivers and these clerks that have to come that were at the stations, where are they going to go? And how long are they going to stay at our location? Because we do not have an SDC near us. Now, my friend is not that far from me, but they're in a different county. So that SDC is under a different location, in a different district. Where I am located, that SDC does not service us. It does, but it doesn't. It's not our main hub. And so if we're going to have this movement to our facility of carriers and clerks, How long are they going to stay at? Are we going to have a facility, an SDC near us that's going to house them? Because after a while, you're not going to be able to have them housed here with everything else we got going on. And it just goes to show you all this shit that's been going on. And now it's like this. It's on and popping, baby. On and popping. You don't know what you're going to get when you fucking come to work. Like, it could be any motherfucking thing going on. And just the mere fact that my friend got their letter today stating that after December, they had gave them a date. This is where you report. That's it. There's no longer you going to that location. Now, my other concern is if they're closing his location, and I think they're closing 2 or 3 other locations in the area, where do our patrons of the post office, where they're supposed to go? Is everything now going to be centrally located at one big station for them to go and do their mailing of packages and letters or whatever? Because now you're closing the smaller ones, which are technically in the neighborhoods. So if you got Little River neighborhood and Big City neighborhood, they have their own individual little stations. And now you're closing those, which have been a fix in the community for a long time. And now telling the residents, hey, we're closing this. You can't go here anymore. It was literally right up the street from your house. Excuse me, y'all. Or it was, a 2-5-minute ride for you to go deal with your packages. The businesses in the area, mom and pop businesses that use the post office to mail off whatever they need to for their customers, can no longer just go up the street and drop off things. Now they got to go find wherever the next location is still available to them to take their goods. It's a trickle down effect, not just for employees of the post office. Don't think it's just about y'all motherfuckers. It ain't just about y'all. Think about the area that particular station is in. Think about the residents that are in that area. Think about the businesses that rely on the postal service on that little small station. And where my friend works, it's not that small. It's a station. It ain't like that. It's, a decent sized station. But think about these stations that are closing, and then think about the neighborhood that is in. That's been a fixture in that neighborhood. And now you're asking all of our patrons of the post office for that particular area, okay, we're going to close these. Yeah, we know they're close to you, but we need you to go down the street. I understand it's about logistics, but honestly, there's no loyalty in being loyal. Get it? There's no loyalty in fucking being loyal. Because if we were being loyal to our residents in a particular area, we would evaluate, do we need to close 4? Can we just keep 1 open? Do we need to close 3? Or should we leave 1 open and close the other 2? Because it services this area, this neighborhood, or this circumference, this radius of the neighborhood, so that we can keep the residents who are using this without having to go too far. Do you think they actually thought about that shit? Do you think the Joy thought about that shit? No, baby, he ain't thinking about that shit. He thinking about this. He's thinking about this. And at the end of the fucking day, all of us sitting here complaining, woe is me, all these changes, they pulling out machines. And yes, I know some of you guys are getting laid off if you're not a career employee as of yet. And shit is bad, but it's other things that are going on in the whole circle of what the post office is trying to do that's affecting just you. That's affecting just me. It's affecting a lot of other people. So my thing is, when you make these closures of these smaller places that you don't want open because you want big hubs, how are we servicing the neighborhood, the businesses in the neighborhood, to the best of our ability if we don't have anything open for them to go to? And you're telling them, you know what, you got to go down the street, like all the way down the street, around the corner and around the other corner. I don't think that's good business. If you do, then I don't want to work for your business, because, baby, you're going to be broke as fuck. Bankrupt. We really, really need to think about that shit in the long run. We don't think about it. We think about everything else that's going on. Oh, they pulling out machines. Oh, they abolishing bids. Oh, and at my place, they already abolished bids, restructured their bids and changed their times. But they still got jobs. They still have jobs. They're changing routes, they're closing stations, they're moving people, they're opening SDCs. But did we think about the human effect in that neighborhood when you close a small location? Did they think about it? We don't even think about it. I bet you didn't even fucking think about it until I brought it up to your ass. Don't even sit here and say, yeah, Miss K, I thought about it. No, the fuck you didn't. You didn't think about that shit. Sit your ass down. Way down in the back. Playing. Because I just thought about that shit. That's why I can't tell y'all about it. Damn. But seriously, the effect on a business, if a business is in a neighborhood and the post office is right up the street or right around the corner, and your mom and pop, you don't have a truck, you have a car, you're throwing that shit in your trunk, and then you go to the post office, you can send off your goods and your wares, and you go to the same post office. So the people there know you and they already know what to do with your stuff. You can leave it on the counter, they'll take care of its process. Now you got to leave your confines to go find a whole nother location to send off your goods, because what was literally right down the street for you is no longer available. How does that affect that business in the long run? If you're an older person and you live in a neighborhood and you're used to the same carrier, and you are, or you know that the station is right up there and you're going to the station to drop off whatever, you can't do that now, because if they're closing that particular station in your area, you got to go someplace else. So it's a lot of shit, honestly, that needs to be thought through all the way. And I don't think a lot of it was thought through, and a lot of it is the human aspect of it that no one is really considering. The human toll on a business, or just the residents in general, for that particular that station that's in that area. And it's normally in a neighborhood, and it's normally been there for umpteen years, and it's a fixture there. And when you remove the fixture, what happens? When you remove what people are so used to, what happens? Didn't think about that, huh? It just came to my mind. So I decided I want to come and talk to y'all about it. Something for y'all to think about, something for y'all to chew on. Didn't think about that shit, huh? We concerned with every damn thing else, but we're not concerned with that. And when my friend Gate let me know that they were moving him from one place to another and they were sending him to the SDC, I was like, well, damn, this shit is hitting it. And then that's when I thought about what happens to those stations in those resident areas, and how is that going to affect the residences and the businesses. Think about it. You know, if you guys already have been experiencing this in your area, if you're a carrier and you got some stories to tell, drop it in the comments, baby. Let all of us know. Because remember, every experience is different, and we experience things at different times. Some of us may have experienced this shit last year, beginning of this year, middle of this year. For me, for Miss K, it's the end of this year. For some of y'all, may not even be until next year. So let everyone know what your experience is, so that people can be prepared for when the shit happens to them. They go, you know what? So-and-so from Kansas told us about this shit. And Miss K mentioned something, and somebody else mentioned something. They said this shit was coming. This is what's happening. Now I'm experiencing it myself. Let your other postal freaks know what's going on. How you feel about it. We all here. We in one gang, baby. And that's the postal gang. Gang, gang, motherfuckers, gang, gang. Anyway, so Miss K finna head out. Enjoy the rest of y'all motherfucking night, because I ain't playing too. Okay? All right. So always remember, my postal freaks, love and light. Peace.